Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm gonna pop in here really quick and get the links. Give me the links, come on. Why aren't you doing it? Bum, bum, bum. There it is. Oh, we need to bring up Discord. Man, I thought like I had everything already and I'd be able to pop in and just do it like super fast. Oops. There we go. Okay, so the action yesterday, kind of rangy. Ugh. Did Ninja Trader just crash? It just crashed. It literally just crashed on me. Only my one tick charts again. Well, anyways, we're lower, starting the day out at the bottom of the range, and we haven't even, it's not even the start of the session, and we have jobs today. I think we have something else today. What else do we have? We have building permits too, all at the same time.
Tucker said GM all. Building permits and other news in 12 minutes.
Yep. So yeah. Ninja Trader. What is going on? Come on, bro. What's the deal? Well, I'm just gonna kill it. You leave me no choice. It is literally crashed on me every day. Literally every day. Can you believe that? So here's what we're gonna do is, oh, and look, it's not even like, hasn't gotten very far at all, and it's doing it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here to indicators on this chart, and I'm going to remove cumulative deltas since we have it over here in Jigsaw. And on this one, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to remove the spread. And hopefully when it crashes, one or the other of those will not crash like the other three windows, and we'll know which indicator is the problem. Freaking crazy, right? Okay, that's better. So yesterday was kind of rangy, but then towards the end of the day we really faded, and now we're trading lower. Looks like we're going to come back up to the VWAP maybe before the news. That's pretty common. But I am going to be wary about taking any trades before the news. Let's look at the news. Let's look at the, well, okay, so I have all these windows open. What the heck is all this? We don't need that, we don't need that. Oh yes, we must check our Coinbase account. It still says that our funds have not been deposited. Not fun. Anyways, the news. We're expecting 59. Well, that's the Canadian non-farm. Where is ours? 250. Well, the last week it disappointed, didn't it? Yes, last week it disappointed. This week, expectations are a little bit more reasonable, I think. Looks like you were right yesterday. It dipped a bit further. What was I right about? Just it dipping further that day? I don't know. I don't necessarily feel like I was right about anything. So here's the thing, like it did make a pretty good recovery there overnight, didn't it? Wow, you got some purchases at 93? Wow. You're so lucky. I Coinbase still hasn't deposited my funds. Maybe later today. You know, it's the start of the day. Maybe they're not. Maybe their bank processing thing only happens once a day or something. But I kind of wanted to buy down there. By the way, we should run our script, huh? Although some of the data doesn't necessarily change every day in Bitcoin. Unfortunately, the site that I am pulling the data from does it like every other day, I guess. But we'll see. Nope. It still says 54. So we'll see tomorrow what it tells us. I mean, that's close enough. I'd say 50, 55. That's close enough. You could be buying this. I just that the whole thing is a little too fast. You know what I mean? Like we're sitting here, we're oversold, and I'm looking at these numbers and I'm like, okay, yeah, it happens. It doesn't happen very often. You can use this to swing and catch tops and bottoms. But now what we're looking at is a situation where we went from overbought to oversold in less than a matter of weeks, and now it's looking like it could go back up to oversold in just another week or a few days. I mean, it's insane. I do expect, though, you know, watching this. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we have recovered, but once you get to like that 1200, some sellers are probably going to come back in. So I still want to see it as a swing lower, higher high. But maybe by then Coinbase that would be like your second entry, you know? My guess is that Coinbase is receiving loads of transfers right now. Maybe they are overloaded. It could be. I put it in on like Saturday, so it says they say it could take up to 4 days. It's been 3 now, right? 3 business days. So we'll see. I'm trying to think here. So when I trade news, I try and look at, you know, what I'm expecting and what the market is expecting. I'm expecting that it won't come in too far off. The housing starts, on the other hand, I don't know. Let me show you. Let me show you what I'm looking at here on housing starts. Okay, so we have had a couple of times where it's underperformed for a long time in 2017. Then we had that big outperformance month. Their expectation is pretty high, so we could underperform that. I don't know. Does it seem? Do you see any indications that housing starts might be different than what they're expecting? No, but I do think that they might disappoint. Philly Fed. We can look at this one. Yeah, Philly Fed will probably come in line pretty close. Unemployment claims, however, has been rising. Again, I think that their expectation is reasonable. So I think we're kind of looking for everything to come in pretty close to in line, and if it doesn't, then we should probably take a trade based off of that, right? And it does look like the market is trying to make it back to the view up before the news. So there's that. Let's pull up the squawk. How about that? We can get our news from some British people. Freaking Chrome. So big. And open TweetDeck. By the way, if you guys want news, there's a lot of Twitter accounts that give you squawks that are you know, that gives you reasonably fast. I'm gonna take a bite here of food. Okay, well, still got food in my mouth. Blah. Excuse me for that. There's the poll.
10 seconds.
Oh, okay, we got 10 seconds. Love it. And that means that it's working. Sometimes it doesn't.
220k initial jobless, continuing claims 1.952 million. Housing starts comes in at 1.192 million with a drop of 8.2% month on month. Building permits 1.3 million with a drop of 0.1% month on month.
Okay, that's bad.
Philly Fed comes in at 22.2 for the business index. Breakdown on the Philly Fed as well. 6-month index comes in at 42.2. Capex 36.2. Employment 16.8. Prices paid 32.9, and new orders 10.
You're gonna watch for some buying in the 5-year
as well. To the continuing claims, last month's 1.867 million revised up to 1.876 million. Last month's housing starts at 1.297, revised down to 1.290, and a month-on-month 3.3% rise, revised down to 3%. Building permits, last month's 1.298, revised up to 1.303. And last month,
that's good.
1.4%, revised up to a drop of 1%. So Philly Fed Business Index last time out 26.2, revised up to 27.9.
So it's a little mixed. Philly Fed was bad. Building starts was bad. Unemployment was good. A little mixed. And the revisions were mixed too, although I didn't quite catch all of those. I'm not seeing a clear move. This is spec'd up, but okay, so they took that. Okay. So it's looking like a VWAP bounce and that they want to sell. So we're going to go with it. I'm going to take another bite of food.
Alligator said took a short 150 based on unemployment, as it can impact future inflation, but uncomfortable, mixed is the word.
Okay, now that we got that out of the way, we can focus. So, I was just saying in the Discord chat, but my take on it is the news was mixed, but it wasn't like a huge outlier, huge surprise. And so I think I don't like that the Philly Fed in particular came in lower. Unemployment, you know, I don't know if that matters so much at the moment. And so I think that the larger time frame trend is going to take hold again, which means, you know, we were down pretty significantly from yesterday. We'll continue going down. That seems to be where the volume is going, especially in the 30-year. We also bounced off the VWAP in ZN. Nice. Good tick and hold. This looks like this should be good for a new low and possibly down to 100. see this one right here? I think that's where it's headed. And look at all of the people. Now that is something I have not seen. Look at ZB. See all of the size beneath the market?
Alligator said bear steep enter, they like it?
Yeah. I've never seen orders like that outside of the range. Usually there would be 1,000 at like 13 and 12. And then not, maybe a 500 after it, and then the usuals. Or sorry, maybe a 700 after it, and then the usuals. But for there to be so many orders below prices that we haven't traded yet today, that's really unusual. Oh, what news are you talking about? Yeah, we're just talking about the economic news releases. Now we'll keep the squawk open.
Alligator said the slide yes and today seems overextended, maybe their idea is absorb there and play a swing rebound.
Well, I'm liking that we already got 4 ticks. And a new low. Hmm. Getting some big numbers here now, suddenly. We pushed through a 5. We're going to push through another 5? And big numbers, what did we get in ZB? Oh, we got a 1,000 traded in ZB. This is very curious action. I've never seen anything like this before. But something's telling me that we might bounce here, that we might come off of the absorption. Oh, now we're seeing it both ways. So this is a battle, huh? Look at that.
European news hearing from an EU official that the next Greek aid disbursement will be between 6 and 7 billion euros. So to repeat that, hearing from an EU official that the next Greek aid disbursement will be between 6 to 7 billion euros.
I'm going to put an order in here because I think that we're going to get filled by icebergs. Okay, yeah. And I don't really know who's going to win. They could push it through. So if they really win and take, you know, and make 120 go offer, then this could be like a trend day.
European news more from that EU official saying the next Greek disbursement may be more than one tranche.
Alligator said ZF at S1 needs to break 0.62.
Okay. Let's reset our DOM because we're at right there at the level on all three of them. I mean, that's not the kind of level 2 that you would expect to see at a low. But that's also not the kind of order flow you would expect to see if we were going to trend and make a couple more new lows until 100 or 10 even.
Alligator said still in, long and fine at LOD.
Now let's see what the crypto guys have been saying. Oh, looks like we got a new guy. Add him in a regular role so we can post pictures. Yeah. Quantotron was saying it looks like most trading platforms in Bitcoin are crap. And I'm like, yeah, I really like KU Coin because they use trading view charts. So they have good charts, but there's nothing even remotely close to the same level as the jigsaw tools in Bitcoin. Interesting here, by the way, in the Bitcoin chart. Okay, so we had some play around the VWAP, bounced lower. They still recovered and came higher. So it does look like there may still be some bears trying to kick it down again. And now here they're trying again, and they got faded. But here, this move is too high. We're probably going to start swinging lower again in Bitcoin. So just remember that price. So we put it, 11.8. Yeah. It should pivot lower. Okay, well, we're at the same place we were in the note. What's the ZB chart doing here? Okay, so we did have a 4-tick pullback, actually. They just didn't take it.
Fran said ES is flat, so maybe a pullback coming in bonds.
You think ES is going to go down? Oh, sorry, I didn't see your question there. Adele 3137, do you think it will dip even more? So I assume you're talking about Bitcoin. And so I don't want to make like strict predictions like yes it will or yes it won't. So what I will say is we are close to oversold. I mean, we're very oversold right now, and my indicator is giving. It's not like the lowest levels ever. I think the lowest levels ever I've seen were like in the 40s, and we're like 55 right now. So I do think that bouncing here is appropriate, but there is still a possibility that they take another dive down. Now one of the things is if we see another dive down, or if my indicator starts reading like 40, like if it takes another 15 points down, that would indicate to me
FX, we're seeing dollar CAD hit a new high of 124.80, currently trading 124.75, now eyeing the 125 level.
And let's just turn the
Fran
volume
said
down
we're
on
right at 61% of the range from January 10th.
That would indicate to me that there's some manipulation in the market short.
Fran said so, perhaps a bounce near here.
So we see price manipulation in the cryptocurrency market long all the time, but not necessarily short, because there's not really a way to make profit off of it. So if we really do start to get below those oversold levels, where it normally would bounce, then I would start to say that that's evidence that there's some manipulation going on. So that's why I'm a little hesitant to say like, oh, this is the bounce. I also believe that just based on the chart, okay, Bitcoin very much likes to fiddle around a lot. It's a really random, the way it trades is really random, because it's so easy for large players to move it around. And you can see that here, where we ranged back and forth here for a long time before they decided to sell.
Alligator said it was pretty balanced at 125, but now too quiet. Don't like that.
Yeah, it's going to go up because, sorry, just on bonds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. It's probably, it might reverse. Okay, sorry about that, guys. A little distracted. I'm very easily distracted. Anyways, so my thing is, there's always counter moves. So we could have a big push up here, and we could maybe even get to 1400. But there is going to be another sell at some point. They're definitely going to try and sell it again. And then the question becomes, do they make a new low or not? So I do think there's a high probability that that's as low as it gets, at least for now. But I also think that there's a high probability that you can get a better price than what it is today. Does that make sense? Is that an adequate answer to that? Yeah, so Smiley Ant is asking, did your indicator hit 50 on Bitcoin? So something about the indicator that you have to keep in mind. I only run it once a day, and some of the data for Bitcoin in particular only updates every other day, just because I'm getting it from like blockchain.info, and they only update those every other day for some reason. So it read 55 yesterday. It's the same today. Tomorrow,
Fran said scalping long from 06.
Tomorrow I would expect it to read a little bit higher than that. But like, is 50 like the number? And I don't know. I don't know like what exactly is like the best number for it to buy it at when it gets on a daily basis.
Very quiet.
I just know eyeballing in the chart, it's around 50 where it bases out. So I think that you're close enough that you could say, yeah, it's giving a buy signal right now. I would have tried buying below 10,000 yesterday if my money had been confirmed. So I actually saw, like, if you go into the Bitcoin channel, you can actually see me saying, hey, that looks like a higher low. I think it just reversed, and sure enough it did. So that is one thing that appears to be have weight in the market, is higher highs and higher lows. So
Fran said out -1.
That brings me to my last point, and this is the one that's going to throw with a wrench into everything, okay? And this is what makes me so wary of making any like super confident call.
Fran said volume is low and choppy.
We did make a lower low. And my indicator, it usually only hits 50 when we're like at major bottoms. So like, is this a major bottom? It doesn't seem right. So I'm thinking there is a possibility that we could get an impulsive move up. and immediately go to oversold levels on my indicator, fail to make a new high, and then start going lower. That's what I'm worried about. That's also a scenario that's in the card. I don't know what the probability of that scenario is. It's hard to make a new low now, but it is still possible, yeah. Well, I think to make a new low beyond this, we would have to have a much more significant pullback, you know, like we get up to 1500 and then it fails. Something like that, you know? So, as for how you should play it, you know, that depends on your time frame and your risk tolerance and stuff. I don't recommend day trading a Bitcoin, but I do think it's okay to take swings. And, you know, you could swing it long here.
And back in at -07.
Have a target at like 1400 and then take it off and see what it does. And then based off of what it does, take your next swing. That might be one way to play it. Or just buy now and wait until the indicator says it's overbought. I don't know. The funny thing is that my portfolio in particular, because I have Sia coin, is like where I made most of my profits. My after yesterday
to get Phila.09.
It looked really bad at points yesterday, but now it's
Fran said got it.
Basically where it was last week. So it was a huge move down, but then at the same time it didn't actually do that much damage. So here in this one, you remember I was saying this might do my zipper pattern in reverse in the note. It didn't do enough ticks to do my zipper pattern, but we did reverse as expected. I can't take this long because my rule is only sell below the VWAP. So I'm going to wait and see if there's a VWAP bounce here as my next play in the note. Right, the volume starts to build up.
Fran said delta numbers really shallow.
Well, and that's the other key thing that I think makes this particular move down different from the ones historically that we've seen from my indicator, is that, you know, like after the Mt. Gox crash, there was the initial sell, but then like the market went dead. Like a lot of people just got burned and didn't trade anymore, and volume fell down significantly. Whereas with this one, you know, if we look at this chart, this is the most extended period of high volume we have ever seen. So that based on the fundamentals of my indicator, that gives us more room to go higher, actually.
Fran said not enough momentum to risk more scalping long.
How do you think futures are affecting the crypto market? These moves down seem to happen more often. So I don't think that the futures are affecting the market directly, but I do think that the futures are creating more sellers for sure. There does seem to be people playing, you know, making plays where to make money off of the futures, selling it, because the futures traders went short big time. In fact, I mean, let's just look at this chart right here.
Fran said O/N sessions have been more active. I guess the bund has been trading well then.
You know? So here's where we were at balance. And here's the move I've pointed out many times. Bitcoin price was going up. Cumulative delta was flat to down. About 50 contracts sold. Okay. So that's like $5 million, right? $5 million went short here. Okay. Fast forward. Down, 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 down. Just look at this line. Down, 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 down. Flat, down, 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 down. Now we're to yesterday. Still down, still down, still down. Okay. A little bit of a rise there on that one up. So some people took profits right there. Okay, now we're negative, almost negative 400, right? Where were we before?
Alligator said global range
Right.
average, slow market, average volume,
150.
down then up.
Okay, so now on this day, today, about 50 have taken it off. You know, it was flat. Now some are getting out. So there's still a lot of people short. And the thing about the futures is that because it's such a light market, the bids and offers are really important. Like I just show you here, if we pull up the DOM, right? There's only like one. And when Bitcoin price moves, these move. And that's what makes the market move. And people are just buying and selling at these edges. So you could sell as many as you want. That's how we're able to have cumulative delta go completely against price for such a long period of time.
Fran said UBPOC is at 12, has a long way to achieve balance, volume very thin from 12 down.
Well, ultimately though, I do think it's a good thing because, you know, Bitcoin is too volatile. And part of the reason why it's so volatile is because there's nothing to hold it back.
Fran said that's 164.12.
When it gets overextended, it always goes new high, wait for a little bit, new high. And really what we want to see is new high, pullback, new high, pullback, like in bonds, you know? And I think that what will happen now that we have futures is these swings should get smaller and smaller over time as the futures become more liquid. Because yes, they sold it, but then at some point, then it's oversold on the futures and they're going to buy the futures too, right? So that gives people incentive to buy the cash. So I would say that to summarize, I do think that it maybe caused more selling.
Is holding 2,800 so far.
It wasn't like the cause of things, but it affected the market in that there was more selling on this move down. And based on that, I think that in the future we will start to see less and less volatility as things go along. I would love to see my indicator never hit the 50 and 100 levels. It just always sit at 75, always appropriately valued based on the amount of transaction volume going through it. That would be the best case scenario for everybody.
Alligator said accumulation at lows, looks like an up morning, maybe risk off, doubt it.
You're talking about the E-mini there, Alligator? So I would say right now in the note,
Fran said interesting, yesterday's profile is very balanced with the POC right at BWAP, a Jim Dalton perfect day. Alligator said needs to break up S1 to confirm, there it's only a pullback.
I think I'm a little dehydrated because I just keep wanting to drink water.
Fran said my delta bar numbers are in the single digits for the most part, really shallow.
She was talking UB. Oh, we have some people. Huh? Now, what's going on here in we have apparently we have an admin of Nice Hash in the general channel on our Discord. Let's see if they can prove who they are. That would be really cool. Probably pick up after the open, yet after equity is open. Let me read this. Okay. Maybe I should send him my my. Mm-hmm. Da, 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 da. Oh yeah, let's look at John Bottomley's notes here. We have a naked point of control below market 149.08. Last week's low at 149.03 is well within reach. Okay. If price continues to trade below the 20 to 16 area, and we're right in the middle of it, we can trade lower. Bull bear zone is 26 to 30. Okay. So we're like right in the uncertain area. Really? Did I spell it right? Sorry, I was looking at something else. I hadn't checked the chat. Oh, yeah, it's okay. You didn't look like you said anything else. I hope that's helpful. I don't, I feel like there's a lot of people out there that sometimes you want to say things confidently, you know what I mean? Like, you want to say it like, this is what's going to happen. And that way, when I'm right, everybody will know that I was exactly right. And the problem is that we're just humans aren't very good at that. We're wrong all the time. You know, like if you look at my trades, I'm wrong half the time or more. I'm still profitable, but I tend to be wrong more often than not. And Bitcoin in particular is like super random. So to try and say like I know exactly what's going to happen, it's better for me instead, I think, to list out the scenarios. These are the things that could happen. This is the ways that it could play out. And here are the factors that I think matter the most. That way you're going to go back and you're going to go say, okay, well, Seth says that his indicator is affected by transaction volume. So if we continue to see a high amount of transactions and Bitcoin continue to grow in terms of transaction volume, maybe we could see a new high, a new all-time high. But if it starts to die off, then we could enter into a larger bear market, right? Now I'm giving you something that you can trade off of yourself, you know? So that's what I'm trying to do. I hope it's working. Okay, well that was a good tick down there. I don't know if I really want to take it here. I mean, maybe I should have taken it at 140, 145, but it was too low probability at that point. Too quiet. Equities is
And the company said a drought in Brazil was among the factors
tricksy.
negatively impacting its bottom line. Also hearing from M&T Bank, the bank announced it would raise wages for employees as a result of a tax reform. The bank said it was making the move in tax law. Also hearing from Xerox, Pearson office
There we go.
provider disclosed details of its JV.
Maybe we turn him down even more.
Pearson said U.S. security law requires that disclosure, but the company said it is comfortable with the current level of disclosure. Nothing shares trading down over.
There we go. That way he doesn't cut me off. He's just background noise. Is that better? Hi, Keith. Ding, 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 ding. Okay. That's a little weird. Oh, so alligator went long there. Um, okay. Okay. Right there, the VWAP. Hmm. No. I'm in the office today, so I can't really focus like I did yesterday. I won't be taking as many trades. That one just stood out to me. Oh, he took the long at 40. Well, I could go long here, but I don't know. It's kind of interesting action, isn't it? Especially since we're seeing that big of a spike in CF. So I was talking to this guy who says he's from Nice Hash, so he was just asking me to walk through it, so let me show you what I'd done with it. I see. My virus software doesn't like it. Haven't opened it in a little while, so I think it's taking a while to start up. I also have the old version of it. So I know, I don't know if Rackly is on today, but you've been mining with nice hash, right? Flat 160. Hmm. Wonder why it's taking that so long. Oh, look at that. I scalped the 1 tick. And it's doing the same thing. I might have to mess with it off stream. I have the old one too. Let's see if the old one does anything different. Where are ya? Oh. Guess it doesn't like my old one of my video cards, and I tried putting in an older video card and it doesn't like it. That might be why this one is crapping out, so I might have to go back and fix that. Because I changed that since I did this one. Here's the classic one. Classic one works. The thing I like about this is, if I go into the settings, I think it is. Yeah, this one. You get off of this algorithm is a good pool. And I get decent speed off of it. Obviously can't start it because I'm recording and the stream would die if I started using it. Yeah, I think the reason why the main one won't open right now is because I actually have like an old GTX 560 in my machine, and I couldn't seem to get them to work with, like, I could get it to like mine with one particular miner, and then the rest it wouldn't work. And so I tried a bunch of messing around with the drivers and everything like that, and it ultimately just made things worse. And so what I found, wow, okay, I really should have taken it there at 6.5. Unwind. Yeah. Anyways, I guess what I determined was that you can't use different versions of compute at the same time. So like my 1060 is compute 5 and my 560 was compute 1.2, and you can't be running like both versions of CUDA at the same time. And so I just need to remove that card, and then probably the other nice hash will work again. I don't know. That was an interesting move, wasn't it? And I don't necessarily see what's driving that. Wow. Hmm. Okay, well, alligator is along again. Hmm. I mean, the 5 year saw something that I liked, but I'm not quite sure I understand what the deal is.
Alligator said okay MR stupid.
Man. Put a big I there because it's traded back and forth there like 20 times.
Okan CX Softy said foresee the mind.
Okay, so I feel like there is something going on in the market that we're not being told about. Because it's just really bizarre action up here. Sweden is preparing for a quote-unquote civil war. Wants to deploy army in no-go zones. Okay, that's interesting. Huh. Yes, let's sorry about that. I'll make sure that this is all right. I don't know, I think Bitcoin should come down still. Should come down back to the VWAP. Interesting. What the heck? Now iceberging at 15. And iceberging the other way. And like, it's hard to make sense of this because we started at the VWAP. We moved down, we made a new low. Then we moved up, and when we moved up, we actually beat the previous pivot too. So like, and it's getting all crazy up here, and we got volume going both ways and stuff. Like, this is really confusing action. Yes, and now the hard part. VWAP mid-range, don't know, above 145 is bias up for me. But why? We did see a move up in the yen. Is that what it was? Maybe. It definitely wasn't the E-mini. What do you guys think? I haven't looked at here at the YouTube chat for a bit. Oh yeah. Kind of a slow morning today, I guess. Okay, well, I'm still seeing some support in the 5-year. That right there, we came back up. We're getting solid ticks. They ticked down. And just seeing like big icebergs popping up here both ways too. Oh, did you hear that? What did they say on Financial Juice? Gonna turn that up a little bit. I think I'm gonna buy it. Seeing clear buying in the 5-year. I think it's gonna push us up and push us higher than the last one. No fill. Yeah. Equities looks like they're trying to push up and have been failing. It doesn't look like it's like definitely on the edge of doing something right now. It just is kind of there. might still get filled. Seeing messy depth so far in ESF, no commitment on either side yet, still outside in trading. ESF, that's from Futures Trader 71. Oh, look, I got filled. I don't want to see it trade 150, so I'm going to move my stop up. I want to see this pull and trade through. If I don't see this really tick up strong, I might just take one tick. Because this just seems like choppy action, you know? So I could take one tick and maybe it'll give me the opportunity to do this more than once. Since it's been awfully choppy. Okay, so there's a good tick up. Well, an okay tick up in ZF. Pulling. Not enough. Okay. So now ZB is well above our zones. I think that John had his. Let's pull that up. The bull bear zone was like 24 to 28, right? Oh. 26 to 30. Just bull bear zone. Okay. And that tick up in ZF didn't go anywhere. Oh, hi Dave K. Didn't see you pop in there. Looking for another leg up on Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, I think we could maybe see one a little bit later today, but I think that we need to come back to the VWAP here before we can get much further in Bitcoin. So like right here, 1200, and maybe we'll come back again to 11,500. Then maybe we could go higher again. But right now we're right at that first deviation, so there's going to be a lot of resistance there. Dave K, there are absolutely no good trades today. I take that back. Ethereum looks like it's going to swing positive on MACD. Well, it is a little bit of a... I think it's a difficult trade here because you know that any kind of recovery that they're going to test it first. You know what I mean? So... Okay, interesting to see that. I mean, obviously I'm not paying as much attention to it, but you know, the volume on Bitfinex on these blue bars is still pretty strong, so I think that we could get a real recovery here. Okay. Good iceberg underneath of us. That's good. Although they might just push through it. I don't like that we got 3K here now. Well, we're almost at highs in cumulative delta on the 5-year and in the 10-year, but not 30. The 30 has actually been selling quite a bit. We seeing some somebody putting on a steepener. Nice. Okay, because the buy was so strong, are there big orders in that? Not really. Just at the 1,000. The rest was just robots eating it up. That's curious. Okay, we're just gonna take the one. It may totally just shoot out here again, but I'm not. That's just not a strong enough uptick for me to want to, you know, really run with it. And I am going to drive in to work today. Thursday's the day we have to go in, so I'm going to end here. I'm gonna try and end here somewhere around 8:30 my time. That would be 10:30 Eastern time. So if you guys have any questions in chat or anything you want to talk about, now would be the time to put it in. Speculator Seth, what is your opinion on the market drop as a whole? Is it going to tank hard soon? Well, my take when you put it in that context. No, I totally have time to answer that question. So when you put it in that context, the action that we saw Tuesday and Wednesday was the hard tanking that I was expecting. So remember, people were asking, you know, will it go lower or will it go higher or whatever? And I said, well, I don't know for sure what's going to happen, but every time that we've hit that overbought level, the indicator went straight back down to the, you know, the underbought level. So I was expecting a move lower. I thought it was going to be, you know, a little bit more gradual, like, you know, people slowly lose interest and then it just crashes. Instead, what we got was, you know, somebody initiating a move down. So that kind of, I think that's part of why it makes it hard for me to try and guess what's going to happen next, you know. I do think that, oh, you know, the chart is just smaller. Here's my, you know, just throwing it against the wall, like scenario one that I think is the most likely. I don't know what the probability of this is. It's probably not super high, any one of these scenarios, but the first scenario that I see is that we're going to reverse here at 1205. Well, 1200 basically. We're going to reverse here at 1200 and come back to the VWAP. That I think is likely. From there, we might test around a little bit and move higher. But there is, of course, the possibility that then we test lower, we make a lower low and start ranging around here or making another look at the lows, right? Then on a slightly larger time frame, there's going to be another swing. So, you know, comes lower, higher low, recovery, or even lower low. I don't know which one it's going to do. We'll turn him off because we don't care about that. Anyways, the other thing I'll say about this move is that what we saw yesterday did not look like capitulation to me. What we saw yesterday looked like a combination between traders going short, you know, maybe a little bit of a reaction to the the whole BitConnect thing blowing up. But I didn't see large numbers of Bitcoin traders going, well, crap. You know, like after Mt. Gox, it was like they sold it and they're like, well, that might be it for a while. I really should have sold it sooner. Maybe I should puke right here, and some did, while others were like, well, it's kind of too late for me to do it now. I might as well just weather the storm, even if it's a couple of years before it makes a new high. You know, that to me is like capitulation, like people admitting that was the high for at least a year or more. At Bitcoin, I'm not seeing that, you know? So I know that that's not like exactly the best answer to that question, but Smiling at, well, wow, it sure felt like capitulation to me. I guess the reason why I say it doesn't feel like capitulation to me was because I look at my portfolio when we were doing really well last week, and I had a big profit in Sia Coin, and it looked like our Bitcoin Cash trade was starting to break out and everything. I think the highest my portfolio got was like 360, and it went down to like 260, and it's back to 300. So it was almost like yesterday. I mean, yeah, it went down, but then it came right back to where it was. It's just like a bump in the road, for my portfolio at least. And it didn't, because I was worried about, I said, well, Bitcoin Cash could take another move lower. So if I see that, I'm not going to panic. But then if we see more than that, it means Bitcoin is just going to drag us down, and now is not the time to take this trade. But, that didn't happen. It didn't come down enough for me to give up on that trade. And then, in fact, a lot of people were bottom feeding, and I
Cedric said,
too,
I'm going to stop for today.
I too was like,
Cedric
if I had
said,
money
I did
in Coinbase.
almost everything wrong.
Oh man, what did he do? Let's see his picture. Oh, he hasn't posted it yet. Let's see Cedric. Anyways, I was like, if my money had confirmed in Coinbase, I would have loved to have bought it below 10K. And if I had it, I would even be maybe considering buying it, except for the fact that we're at the VWAP. So, I don't know.
Cedric said,
the doom and gloomers predicting the market about to go down hard. Yeah. I mean, I do have to admit and
Cedric
be honest.
said,
I was never a Bitcoin proponent. I've never believed that Bitcoin will replace fiat or anything like that. And what this is kind of me saying, okay, there is a market. I don't think that market is going anywhere, and I see an edge in this market too. But I've never necessarily been like a believer. I've kind of always been more of the doom and gloom guy, right?
That's when it's becoming interesting.
So, but I'm not seeing like another breakdown here. It's just way too oversold for it to be like completely falling apart. If we have another leg down, it's going to be to 8 or 9K. And if we get down to 8 or 9K, then I'm definitely going to be trying to pick some up. So if we're not at the end yet, we're probably close. But then it just starts a whole nother new adventure. Because if we base there, if we bottom this week, so maybe we go down lower, but, well, let's say in the next 10 days, because it's kind of towards the end of the week, right? Could you please give a brief explanation of the view op similar to RSI? The VWAP. So that's VWAP. It stands for volume weighted average price. And what it is you take all of the buys, you basically every time that there's an order, like here in Bitcoin, every time there's an order goes through, okay, plus 11,460, plus 11,840, or whatever the size is, of that trade. So we're taking the value of every trade, and then we divide it by volume. And what we get is the average price for that
it happens to everyone in this business.
For that whole time frame. Okay. So if you are above that volume weighted price, that means that price right now is above average for that day. And if we're trading below VWAP, that means that price is below average for that day. So when we trade, let me get rid of this, just because we don't need it right now. So when I trade the note, I always try to buy above the VWAP and sell below. So remember here, I sold it and made this and got out. And then a couple of guys in the channel saw this thing. Actually, I think that maybe they took it like here. So some of them saw this thing, but I didn't take it because we were below the VWAP. Yeah, think of the VWAP as kind of like a moving average. It's the best indication of what the trend is for the whole day.
He said that's for sure.
So right now in Bitcoin, we've been above the VWAP most of the day, and we're above the VWAP right now. And you know, if we ended here today, we would end above the VWAP. That means that today was a trend up day. If we trade back and forth across it many times, kind of like what we're doing in the note right now, then this says that we're in a range bound day. Yeah.
Cedric said, and now it goes down just after I exit for a 1-tick loss, shorted 165.
I'm sure glad I got out of that trade that I was in. Now there's another part to it too, and that's these VWAP bands. So what I do is I look back, you know, over the last 100 bars, what was the average standard deviation, essentially? And then I use that.
Cedric said, I also went long at 125 and scratched.
To say how, you know, this is how big is this price movement. So one standard deviation basically means this is a normal move. Okay. 2 standard deviations is this is a strong move. And 3 standard deviations is like, what the heck is going on? This is a crazy move based off of the recent action. Yeah. So now let's look at Bitcoin and tell us and say, what does the VWAP bands tell us about Bitcoin? Well, we started the VWAP. We had a standard move up and then come back to the VWAP. We had a standard move down that kind of fought but couldn't quite get there, and then move up again. So we should expect that because we've just been having standard moves, unless some sort of significant news comes in that would push the market up or down, I would expect us to revert back to the volume weighted average price again. And you'll see that all the time. It'll come back to the VWAP. Yesterday, if you look at it yesterday, we actually almost hit a 3rd standard deviation
Cedric
at one
said,
point.
anyway, see you tomorrow.
And you can see how when you get to the 3rd standard deviation, there's a high probability that it's going to come back a little bit. I think it did it even stronger the day before. Fun. Yeah, here the day before it really got there. See? And when you get to 3rd standard deviation, it's highly likely to reverse. Ah, cool. Yeah, it's on TradingView, so you can add it. Good job. Oh, so let's see his trades. Yeah. So we had 3 bad ones in a row, a good one, and then 2 bad ones. Yeah, he probably should have stopped a little earlier. It definitely happens to everybody. Okay, well, that was an interesting move down in the bond. And we did have a bit of this action, but we're right at the VWAP right now, and like I said, I want to go into work. So unless we have any other questions, do we need to see capitulation though? Wasn't yesterday enough? I think so. I think you have a good point, Smiley Ant. I mean, here's the thing. If you buy yesterday, you made some money, and it just kind of depends on what your time frame is. Now, if your time frame is like, I'm just going to hold on to this forever now, then it doesn't really matter. But I guess that most of us here are totally okay with just holding something for a few days or a week and then getting rid of it or something, you know? And so in that respect, yesterday probably wasn't a bad buy opportunity at all. But when I talk about capitulation, I'm thinking about like I'm expecting something like post Mt. Gox, you know. I'm expecting something that really decreases interest in the cryptocurrency market for years, you know. And I just don't think that yesterday did it. Yesterday just kind of made people more interested and gives us a glimmer of hope that we could go and try and make a look at the new highs. And then if we try that and we don't come close to the new high and then come back down to this spot, then you might start to see, you know, a bear market, basically. And then down at the very bottom, after there's a significant drop off in interest, then you will see true capitulation. And that's the run that's going to really make you money, right? That's the run that if you had caught it after Mt. Gox, you would be a millionaire right now. If only. Ba-ba-ba-da. Okay, well, let's take a look. Let's review what we got here. Let's write this down because I've been like not taking notes. Notepad, where is it? I need to pin that to the start menu. Okay, Notepad. Okay, so we took 2 trades. The first one was after the news. So we cut one after the news. I thought it was a good entry. We got in at, let's bring the chart over. So after the news, 6:30, we caught 45. So we could have maybe have taken it a little bit earlier. But that's still, you know, that one would have been really hard to catch. And then we got out at 4 ticks. So that would have been 14. Oh, no. 145. So it would have been 12 half.
Fran said agree, if I have a couple of losers, chances are I won't break even for the day, just statistics, so quit and come back the next day.
Yeah. So anyways, that one was a good trade. And then this one here, 160. You know, and I took one tick out of it. Good. Maybe could I have taken this one? Sure, but it's no big deal. So just a small win, 5 ticks. Really happy with it. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Do we have news tomorrow? We have tomorrow consumer sentiment. Yeah. So Friday will be an interesting day. And then of course, I will keep up with on the markets. I'm always in the Discord. I might, you know, stream again on Friday or Saturday. So if you guys are there, you can stream just so we can chat, but we wouldn't be trading. And yeah, that's it. So I will see you guys tomorrow.